They do not tell this part of the story often. They prefer the versions where gods are distant and flawless, where love is something they control rather than something that threatens them. In those retellings, gods do not hesitate. They do not doubt. They do not tremble when affection asks for honesty. But the older truths were never that clean. Even the gods were afraid when love demanded vulnerability. Even immortals flinched when devotion asked them to be seen fully and without armor. This story comes from ancient Rome, yet it does not feel ancient at all. It breathes with something familiar, something close. Because it is not really about temples or wings or divine power. It is about what happens when love asks you to trust someone you cannot completely understand. And what it costs when fear answers before faith does. This is not a story told from stone tablets or heroic murals. This is a story told from the inside, the way it might have felt. Cupid was never meant to fall in love. He was desire itself, a force, not a participant. He was meant to strike hearts, not offer his own. With a careless flick of his wrist, lives were rearranged. With a single arrow, longing bloomed, chaos followed, and others were left to navigate the aftermath. Love was never supposed to touch him back. And then there was Psyche. She was mortal, fragile in the way humans are, temporary, and unbearably beautiful. So beautiful that people stopped kneeling before Venus and began whispering Psyche's name instead. They stared. They admired. They spoke of her like a miracle they were afraid to approach. No one chose her. Admiration surrounded her like noise, but love never crossed the distance. People desired her from afar, but never stepped close enough to stay. And Psyche went to sleep each night, wondering why being seen did not lead to being held. There is a quiet cruelty in that. To be desired but not chosen. To be praised but not loved. Venus felt the shift immediately. Worship thinning, attention drifting, jealousy curdled into rage. She ordered her son to punish the girl, to make Psyche fall in love with someone unworthy, someone who would break her spirit, someone who would remind the world where devotion belonged. Cupid obeyed, or thought he would. But when he saw Psyche, something inside him slipped. The arrow meant to wound her heart cut him instead. Desire turned inward. The god who had never questioned longing suddenly felt it burn beneath his own skin. For the first time, desire made him vulnerable. He did not declare himself. He did not claim her before the gods. He hid. He carried Psyche away to a palace no one else could find. A place that existed outside witness, outside judgment. He came to her only at night. He spoke softly. He cared for her. He gave her comfort and safety and tenderness. But he never allowed her to see his face. And Psyche agreed, because sometimes love does not begin with certainty. Sometimes it begins with loneliness finally being answered. Sometimes it begins when someone stays long enough for the silence to soften. She did not know his name. She did not know his form. But she knew the way he listened. She knew the gentleness in how he shaped her days. Care is a language, and she learned to hear it. Still, doubt is patient. It waits. It grows quietly. Her sisters came to visit. They looked at the unseen palace and the unseen husband and let fear speak for them. They asked questions that sounded like concern but carried poison underneath. If he loves you, why does he hide? If he is good, why can you not see him? What kind of love refuses light? Those questions stayed after they left. They echoed through the rooms. Because love without clarity can feel like standing on a bridge in darkness. You trust the ground beneath your feet, yet a part of you wonders what would happen if it gave way. One night Psyche could not quiet the question anymore. While Cupid slept, she lit a lamp. Just for a moment. Just to know. The light revealed him. Not a monster. Not a shadow. But beauty and softness and divinity resting unguarded. Relief flooded her so quickly it almost hurt. But relief can still break things. A drop of hot oil spilled from the lamp. It struck Cupid awake. The pain was brief. The heartbreak was not. The look on his face was not anger. It was grief. Not because she saw him, but because she did not trust him enough to wait. Because fear spoke louder than love. He left. And this is where the story becomes unmistakably human. Psyche did not chase him out of panic. She chased him out of understanding. She finally grasped what she had risked losing. What she had damaged not through cruelty, but through doubt. She wandered. She begged. She suffered. Venus set trials meant to crush her. Tasks that required more than strength. Sorting seeds meant for many hands. Crossing waters meant to drown her. Descending into the underworld with nothing but resolve in her chest. She was not trying to prove she was worthy. She was proving she was committed. Love does not demand flawlessness. It demands persistence. Cupid watched from a distance. Healing. Learning. Seeing something change. This was no longer curiosity chasing reassurance. This was devotion choosing endurance. And so he returned. Not hidden. Not at night. Not in secrecy. He stood beside her in the light and asked the gods to make her immortal. Not because she was perfect, but because she chose love even when it cost her everything. This story survives because we still live it. We still fall in love without all the answers. We still let fear whisper louder than trust. We still damage what we cherish, not because we want to hurt it, but because we are afraid to lose it. And sometimes love leaves, not always forever, but long enough to teach us what it needs to survive. If you have ever loved someone you could not fully understand, if you have ever searched for proof instead of patience, if you have ever had to earn back something fragile, you are not weak. You are human. Love has always asked more of us than certainty. It asks us to stay, to trust, to risk being wrong, to risk being seen. If this story lingered with you, sit with it for a moment. Let it remind you that love is not about seeing everything clearly. It is about choosing to stay even when the light feels dangerous. This is the Heart's Archive, a place for the stories love leaves behind. And before you go, ask yourself gently, is there someone in your life you are still holding a lamp over, afraid of what you might see?